So this is a historical timeline of the development of children's rights. In 1867, Thomas Bernardo began his work in London when he set up a school for poor children, and he devoted himself to helping destitute children.
In 1884, NSPCC was formed to protect children from cruelty and to support vulnerable families. In 1889, the first Act of Parliament for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, commonly known as the Children's Charter, was passed. This enabled the state to intervene for the first time in relations between parents and children. Police could arrest anyone found ill-treating a child and enter a home if a child was thought to be in danger. The Act included guidelines on the employment of children and outlawed begging.
In 1919, Eagle Glein Jev launched Save the Children Fund.
In 1948, the Children Act established a Children's Committee and a Children's Officer in each local authority. It followed the creation of the Parliamentary Care of Children Committee in 1945, following the death of 13-year-old Dennis O'Neill at the hands of his foster parents. In 1974, the inquiry into the death of Maria Colwell at the hands of her stepfather highlighted a serious lack of coordination among services responsible for child welfare. Its report led to the development of each area child protection committees in Wales and England, which coordinate local efforts to safeguard children at risk.
In 1979, Poland decided that there should be a set of human rights just for children, and it took 10 years for this to happen. In 1989, the Children Act gave every child the right to protection from abuse and exploitation and the right to inquiries to safeguard their welfare. Its central tenet was that children are usually best looked after within their family.
In 1989, this United Nations Convention on the Right of the Child was ratified by the UK. In 1998, this Act is composed of a series of sections that have the effect of codifying the protections in the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law. In 1999, the Protection of Children Act was passed, aiming to prevent paedophiles from working with children. It requires childcare organisations in England and Wales to inform the Department of Health about anyone known to them who is suspected of harming children or putting them at risk.
In 2000, the framework for the assessment of children in need and their families were published. In 2001, the Lord Laming report took place to investigate the death of Victoria Crimby.
In 2001, the first post for a Children's Commissioner in the UK took place.
In 2004, the Welsh Assembly Government issued Rights to Action, a policy document adopting 7 core aims for children, which are presented as a direct translation of the UNCRC's articles into the following broad policy aims: a flying start, a comprehensive range of education and learning opportunities, enjoying the best possible health and freedom from abuse, victimisation and exploitation, access to play, leisure, sporting and cultural activities, have a safe home and community which supports physical and emotional well-being and are not disadvantaged by poverty.
In 2004, the Bishard inquiry took place to investigate the murders of Jessica Chapman and Holly Wells. In 2004, the Children Act was reformed and many of the recommendations had their origins from the Victoria Climby investigation.
In 2006, the Bishard Inquiry in 2004 recommended the establishment of a new centralised vetting and barring scheme for people working with children, which was legislated for in the Safeguarding Vulnerable Groups Act. Also in 2006, a revised document was produced by the Welsh Assembly Government entitled Safeguarding Children, Working Together under the Children Act 2004. The document sets out how organisations and individuals should work together to safeguard and promote the welfare of children.
2006, the document entitled Safeguarding Children in Education gives guidance about the effect of the duty to have arrangements about safeguarding and promoting the welfare of the children, introduced by Section 175 of the Education Act 2002, which came into force in Wales on 1st September 2006. It sets out the roles and responsibilities of local authorities, governing bodies, proprietors of independent schools, head teachers and staff with designated responsibility for child protection in making arrangements to enable people in the educational service to play their full part in safeguarding children from abuse and neglect.
The Children and Young People's Plan Wales Regulations 2007 requires that each local authority, after consultation with partners, should publish a Children and Young People's Plan, setting out how they will improve the well-being of children and young people.
In 2008, the All Wales Child Protection Procedures revised and the preface written by Peter Clark.
In 2010, the Children and Family Wales measure provides the framework for the new approach, starting with key developments in tackling poverty and establishing an integrated family support service. However, this is only statutory guidance within Newport, Merthyr Tydfil, RCT and Wrexham. In 2011, another measure was granted in Parliament in Wales, the Rights of Children and Young People Persons Measure, received royal assent on 16th of March, and the measure placed the duty on Welsh ministers to have due regard to the UNCRC. So for any policy that's being made or constructed in Wales has to have due regard to the UNCRC. That concludes the historical development of children's rights from 1867.